Get your accessible parking permits ready because that's how endless the wait has felt since Volume 1 dropped. Christmas arrived early in Hawkins this year as Volume 2 hit Netflix on December 25th. Perfect timing for me to duck out of family holiday chaos right before my uncle launches into his annual rant about current events. You can't even wish someone happy holidays these days. This latest set of episodes ramps up massively toward the grand finale, dropping on New Year's Eve, so let's plunge deep into the Upside Down and unpack your most pressing questions. What's Vecna's ultimate scheme? How will the group defeat him? Does 11 make it through? What's with that dark substance spewing from their mouths? And crucially, do Will and Mike get their romantic happy ending? Volume 1 closed with Will Byers, known as Will the Wise, evolving into the Sorcerer, fittingly matching the title of that chapter. This shift is both personal growth and a literal power upgrade. Recall that Will's D&D class was originally Wizard, drawing strength from learning, training, and items like grimoires. Sorcerers operate differently. Their magic flows from innate sources, and that's precisely how Will tapped into Vecna's abilities. In episode 507, Will confides in his mom Joyce that he survived by holding on to joyful recollections, especially those involving his brother Jonathan and close friend Mike. This could turn out to be the crucial weapon against Vecna. Vecna weaponizes people's inner demons, twisting thoughts to cause devastating mental harm. Right before that, Vecna mocks Skull as an ideal host due to his perceived vulnerability and manipulability. Will's time trapped in the Upside Down mirrors his deepest anxiety, coming out to his loved ones and fearing they'd gradually distance themselves, leaving him completely isolated. Will undervalues the depth of affection from his circle, who rally to demonstrate their support by joining a pride event and finding joy together. But hold on, we've got that Vecna issue to deal with first. Will's abilities aren't truly original. I don't possess powers, I'm merely borrowing, siphoning from Vecna. And there are clear restrictions to them. In contrast to 11, who can access hers in most locations, Will only channels his close to the hive mind, and with Vecna apparently vanished, it's unclear when he'll access them next. But where did Will acquire these abilities? It traces back to Season 1, during his captivity in the Upside Down. He was force-fed a strange biological material laced with mind flayer entities. Mind flayer entities? They're a kind of collective sentient life form hailing from what Dustin terms the Abyss. The Abyss is the realm where 11 exiled Henry Creel. There, he harnessed his telekinetic gifts to shape those entities. Yet Henry's exile to the Abyss wasn't his initial contact with them. Actually, there's an alternate hypothesis suggesting it's not Henry dominating the entities, but the entities dominating him all along. As Max and Holly navigate Henry's recollections, they discover an ancient mining tunnel. There, they learned why Henry dreaded entering that cavern. In 1959, Henry resided in Nevada, explaining the arid terrain visuals. While using his telescope, the identical one Holly wields, he locates a cavern and encounters a researcher linked to Soviet operations. These moments are inspired by the stage production Stranger Things: The First Shadow. Still, in the production, the Soviet agent is discovered deceased already. Thus, this sequence of young Henry being fired upon and retaliating against the researcher marks a new addition beyond the play. Moreover, Henry as a child sustaining a hand injury from gunfire could become a key element, since shortly after he opens a briefcase releasing vapor. This case stems from a classified initiative dubbed the Nevada Experiment, aimed at harnessing and militarizing a discovery from earlier, where armed forces caused the USS Eldridge to vanish via intense magnetic forces. Interesting note, Eldridge echoes the D&D adjective eldritch, applied to beings like the Mind Flayer. The vessel momentarily entered the Abyss, returning with just one crew member alive, its commander, Dr. Martin Brenner's dad. He returned physically mutated and carrying those Mind Flayer entities, inspiring his son, Dr. Brenner, to study the anomaly. By 1959, when Henry encounters the agent in the cavern, reports suggest Dr. Brenner had isolated or encapsulated a dense concentration of the entities, accounting for the vapor escaping the case. It's likely a refrigerated vessel. Contacting the contents sparks an energy burst, creating a tiny portal and dragging Henry into the abyss. He spends roughly 12 hours there before being yanked back. This altered Henry returns to reality, contaminated by Mind Flayer entities, altering his physiology and making him the original human sorcerer. It wouldn't shock me if Henry's return from the abyss shows his bullet wound mended. The entities might regenerate him, akin to Vecna's healing traits. Amid Dr. Brenner's probe into the security breach, he locates the abandoned telescope belonging to young Henry, engraved with his identity. This enables Dr. Brenner to eventually locate Henry and arrange his household's relocation to Hawkins. You may recall from Volume 1, Max exploring one of Henry's recollections, featuring a teenage Joyce distributing posters for the school play, starring Henry Creel. The first shadow explores his school days and the path to his family's tragedy, culminating in Dr. Brenner recruiting him for the Hawkins facility. But will Volume 3 depict these 1959 incidents directly? Actually, there could be an ideal moment for it, though more on that soon. The point is, who's truly in command? Does Henry command the entities, or have they commanded him from the beginning? This fuels a major seasonal hypothesis. Henry Creel, or Vecna, is merely a pawn for a far older, vaster cosmic force. Henry's contamination positioned him ideally for Brenner's trials. His blood was administered to pregnant participants in Project Indigo. Terry Ives, Eleven's mother, was among them. Pregnant with 11, she received infusions of Henry's blood. Fast forward, Dr. K has revived the effort, using Kaylee's blood instead of Henry's, but it's ineffective compared to Henry's, so she covets 11. Telekinetic youths would make powerful assets against adversaries like the Soviets, particularly those capable of ripping reality and creating dimensional gateways. Upon Henry's return to our realm, his abilities emerged, similarly for Will, though more unconsciously. Vecna reveals that nightly, Will connected to the hive mind and manipulated the vines in the Upside Down, forming its extensive tunnel system. Unknowingly, he aided in building the pathways Demogorgons and Demodogs exploited to menace Hawkins' residents. This burdens Will with profound remorse. "No, Mom, it's because of me." Yet more alarming is Vecna's intentions for a dozen additional such vessels. These hosts, as he calls them, serve as amplifiers for his strength. If a single Will constructed that much, imagine what 12 could achieve in reforming the emerging reality. Answer Dustin's portal hypothesis. In Volume 1, we met what I dubbed the flesh barrier, that enormous biological structure enveloping Hawkins. Plenty of incorrect guesses about its far side, from Henry's illusion realm to the abyss directly. But multiple hints pointed to a portal throughout, like the portal diagram on the board in Mr. Clark's classroom in episode 503, or rewinding to Season 1's fabric demonstration by him. Dustin explains to the team that the Upside Down acts as a multi-dimensional link, bridging two temporal spatial locations. One is our dimension, the other the abyss. The flesh barrier links them, and Vecna intends to employ the youths to fuse his dimension with ours. Fueled by theoretical exotic matter, a unified energy source stabilizing the barrier. In real physics, exotic matter is hypothetical, proposed to sustain portals. To create a space-time opening, general relativity predicts gravitational collapse. Countermeasure, a material inducing anti-gravity effects. That's exotic matter. In classic Stranger Things style, the counter-strategy against Vecna is wildly ambitious, coordinating multiple teams across Hawkins, the Upside Down, and the Abyss. Dubbed Operation Beanstalk, echoing the Jack and the Beanstalk tale. Both feature invading an enchanted realm, securing valuables, in this case the abducted kids, and escaping while blocking the antagonist's pursuit. Details on the operation remain sparse. The schematic only sketches known elements, and it ignores potential setbacks, and setbacks are inevitable. It kicks off with Erica and Mr. Clark hijacking the broadcast to activate portals, allowing the armored vehicle with the main team to crash through the Max E gate into the gateway. The crew deduced commandeering an aircraft in the Upside Down and ascending to the Abyss would be nearly impossible. So, as Steve suggests, bring the Abyss down to them. The dimensions are progressively converging. The plan? When the Squawk Station's tower antenna in the Upside Down breaches the Abyss, 11 mentally overrides Vecna, halting the fusion temporarily. This delay likely won't hold long, and 11 needs proximity to Vecna. They figure his base lies beneath the Hawkins lab in the Upside Down, so they can submerge 11 in the sensory tank air. With Max's intimate knowledge of Vecna's psyche, she'll guide 11 through his past. In fact, any deeper dive into Henry's 1959 experiences and related events would probably occur here. The rest exploit the pause to scale the tower, akin to Jack's climb, rescue the kids, and descend. Then they must return to Hawkins and sever the dimensional link. Mike's timed explosive device factors in. He's rigged a turntable to detonate at a specific track point. And note his debate with Robin over the track choice. The Duffers confirmed the finale features an unprecedented massive song licensing. I suspect the detonator track will be that epic drop. And I'm betting on Queen's Who Wants to Live Forever, unlicensed since Highlander in 1986. It's in the Season 5 teaser too, so that's my pick. Assuming success, the team evacuates to Hawkins as Mike triggers the blast, detonating below the exotic matter core. We witnessed a shotgun's impact on the barrier. Picture multiple C4 charges. This should theoretically isolate Vecna permanently. Two elements suggest complications ahead. First, Will opting to remain in Hawkins. He insists a powered individual like him should guard against Vecna fleeing to the real world. I suspect Vecna either reaches Hawkins or Will confront him in the Upside Down. Then the explosive issue. What if it fails? Backup plan? In episode 505, Hopper and Eleven's homecoming closes on a foreboding view of Hopper's unused suicide vest, the one meant for his self-sacrifice against Vecna. I might catch heat for this, but Hopper redeeming himself by sacrificing to protect 11 and humanity feels poetic. He failed to save his daughter Sarah, but this grants him redemption through saving his adopted daughter. Max and Holly's daring breakout in episode 507 succeeds only for Max. Tracing Henry's oldest memories guides them to portals returning to their bodies. Max's form remains in Hawkins, ravaged from Vecna's Season 4 assault. Holly's, however, was transported to the Abyss, suspended with the others. So her portal exit awakens her there, forcing a dash to the Upside Down. Too slow as Vecna yanks her mid-fall back to the Abyss for reinsertion into his illusion. Worse, Henry brainwashes her peers, including Derek, against her. Though Derek might be pretending. He's convinced the kids they're rescuing loved ones in reality. Hard to believe Holly smashes a classmate's head with her boombox. The creators are crafting Holly's classic timid to brave journey. She confides in Max about freezing during her mom's assault, or doing nothing when Vecna targeted Max. Yet Holly overlooks her own bravery, venturing into forbidden woods, trusting Max for the memory dive and enabling Max's freedom. Holly's arc peaks with a monumental act in Volume 3, convincing the others of the truth. Shattering the Holly the Heroic statue underscores Max's message. Heroism isn't from objects. It's internal. Just as Kate Bush's song didn't save Max, it was her inner strength and bond with Lucas. The series emphasizes chronology heavily, especially November 6th. Note these pivotal November 6ths. 1959, Henry Creel slays his family. 1983, Will's abduction, freezing the Upside Down in time. 1987, Vecna's attempted abyss merge with Earth. Consider the 24-year span from 1959 to 1983, matching a full day's 24 hours, with grandfather clocks recurring for Henry. 12-hour clock faces aligning with the 12 abducted kids on his lair's 12 supports, arranged circularly like clock numerals. In Season 4, Henry despises the constraints of time, calling it a tyrannical construct of arbitrary rules. Ticks, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades. Henry seeks not just Hawkins' domination, but to shatter time itself via a full cosmic 24-hour loop starting in his childhood, hoping Volume 3 delves deeper. Any link to the 4-year jump between November 6, 1983 and 1987? Much speculation surrounds Eleven's post-finale fate. In Volume 1, Mike describes D&D parties not settling back in their hometown after epic changes. They venture to distant, idyllic lands, perhaps with 3 cascades. That triple waterfall detail is deliberate. More on its significance shortly. This seems the likely path for most characters. Victory, then departing Hawkins for new beginnings. But Eleven's arc gets heavy foreshadowing. Primarily via Kali, she warns that even eliminating Vecna, Dr. K, and her facility, successors will emerge. They'll relentlessly pursue 11 and her genetics, and if captured, eliminate Mike like they did Kali's companions. For Kali, only one resolution. Post-Vecna defeat, linger on the collapsing bridge as dimensions separate, vanishing with it. I doubt this occurs. It'd feel abrupt, though 11 might consider it only for Hopper's timely intervention. Tension builds between Hopper and Kali this season, forcing 11's pivotal choice. Rumors circulated, now debunked by Matt Duffer, that Millie Bobby Brown filmed in Iceland post-2025 principal wrap. Allegedly with the Duffers at Kirkyfells Foss, sorry for mangling that, featuring 3 waterfalls, echoing Mike's description. Whether 11 relocates remotely to safeguard friends or Iceland proxies an otherworldly realm, TBD, but waterfalls seem destined for her. Another debunked rumor by Matt Duffer, multiple alternate endings filmed, randomly assigned per Netflix profile. At the London event, Matt reportedly said, "How could we possibly find the time, energy to script and film that? Insane? Nope." Lastly, reflections on key dynamics in Volume 2. Resolving Nancy and Jonathan's romance with a mature parting felt refreshing. That triangle lingered excessively, and they're aligned in amicable closure. They cherish each other, but growth means separate paths. And Dustin-Steve bromance. Thick as thieves since Season 2, but distance grew, intensified post-Eddie Munson's loss. Classic avoidance, push friends away to soften future goodbyes. Dustin's endured losing a brother figure, unwilling to repeat with Steve. Heartwarming, Dustin passes Steve Eddie's weapon from their Season 4 Demobat battle. With 1 episode remaining, Eddie's comeback seems unlikely, but theories persist of his resurrection as Cass the Bloodied, D&D legend turned vampiric post-Batswarm, mirroring Eddie's demise. Finally, Joyce and Hopper, surviving Soviet horrors last season only to face threats to their enhanced children from military and entities. Intriguing contrast, Joyce over-trusting Will, Hopper under-trusting 11. As she notes, parental decisions always seem flawed. Hopper counters, parenting's gift is lifelong proof every decision was mistaken. What do you predict? Do Joyce and Hopper endure as a pair? 11's happily ever after? Share your Volume 3 ideas and speculations below. I'll break down Volume 3 soon after release. Subscribe for instant alerts. Appreciate the view. Like if you enjoyed. For more insightful breakdowns, until then, remember, Daddy's got endless love for you.